while, have we? First of all, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in today. So thank you very much to all your subscribers and your viewers. Thank you for all your lovely comments as well and feedback, and hopefully we'll get to cover everything you've asked me for personally and also underneath the previous vlogs. Now, we are very sorry, aren't we guys, that we haven't been doing our vlogs for a little while. We've been very, very busy with family life and business life. This is actually our business as well. So, but we're very happy to be here today. We've got a lot to cover, haven't we? Don't open it, Rox, because this is the page Mummy has to start on. So, the last vlog we did was week 24 and 25. So this one is week 26, 27, that's right, Terrell, and 28, and 29. So we have a lot to get through today. So should we get started? Okay, let's. So, week 26 was the dreaded glucose tolerance test. For all who know what that is, I know you're thinking, oh gosh, I understand straight away. For those who don't, it's a blood sugar test to test whether or not you're prone to having things such as diabetes in pregnancies, and to make sure basically that your blood sugar levels can be kept under control during the pregnancy. So you qualify for the glucose tolerance test if you've had low weight babies. Roxy Carmen? No. Yes. No. What they consider to be low weight. Roxy was 5 pounds 14 ounces, and they consider that to be low birth weight. So she was tested for blood sugars in the days following giving birth. So the following pregnancy I had to have a glucose tolerance test with Terrell, and also, because of the fact that I am of an ethnic minority. Yes, so we have to be tested for our blood sugar levels. Oh, on that day, you know what? The most dreaded thing about it, I think, was not eating the night before. We wasn't allowed to eat. Are you going to get your apple? Yeah. Okay, you go and sit down with your apple then. Mind your step, good boy. The most dreaded thing was not being able to eat from 9 o'clock the night before. Kneel by mouth. Do you know what kneel by mouth is, Roxy? Kneel by mouth. Kneel by mouth. It means that Mummy could not eat before she had this test. I couldn't eat at all. I had to just have small sips of water. So if you do go for the test, do not fall into that trap of eating too late that night, or they will turn you away when they ask those questions. They also turned a few women away on that morning because they had things like a glass of milk or orange juice. It's just a complete no. All you're allowed is a couple of sips of water, nothing that's going to mess with your blood sugar levels. So I arrived nice and early, and I would advise that you do too. Nice and early. My appointment was for 9 o'clock. I arrived at 8:15. Yes, 8:15. I was the first in and first out, and that's the way I wanted it. I also packed some snacks to take in my bag for afterwards. So immediately afterwards, when I got signed off to go home, on the way to the car, skipping, eating a flapjack. So that really helped. So thank you to my love for giving me the flapjacks the day before. So yeah, arrive nice and early, bring snacks. What they usually do is, as soon as you get there, they take your notes off you and talk to you about, make sure you understand why you're having the test and so on and so forth. And then they, ask you all the personal questions that you need to identify, make sure that you are the person that says on the notes. And then they give you a blood test. They give you an initial blood test, and then they give you a sugary drink. Well, it tasted sugary anyway. I bet if I drank it now, I think, what is this? But at the time, it tasted beautiful. And it was time that we went through, everyone started arriving then. So yeah, so I waited 2 hours, and then I had another blood test to follow. And after that second blood test, they then tell you that the results will be in within a couple of days. No news is good news, and you're free to go. Whilst you're there, make sure you bring a book or your phone is fully charged, because if it's not and it runs out of battery, like mine did, you have to end up watching Jeremy Kyle, which was not great. But anyway, yeah, so just try and bring something to occupy your time so you don't think about food. So that's all I kept doing, was thinking about what I could be eating. Yeah. Was there anything else we wanted to add for week 26? So that was week 26. Week 27 is a little bit quiet, but week 28 was a little bit more busy. We had our first of 3 scans for growth, because Roxy was considered small in comparison to Rael, who was 7 pounds 5 ounces. Roxy was £5.14. So because Roxy was considered small, from my pregnancies after that, I've always been scanned for weight, and to make sure that the growth of the baby is on track to the notes. So we had our first of our 3 growth scans in week 28, as well as our bloods. I have another growth scan next week, Monday, and then there'll be another one following 3 weeks after that, just to make sure that the baby's plotting on the right scale for that. They did explain it to me a little bit better actually, but I know I'm pushed for time because I don't want to keep you sitting here too long. So I'll just skim through, and maybe in week 30 and 31, when we join up those weeks, maybe then I'll be able to elaborate a bit more about how and why they plot the growth in the way that they do. So we had our routine bloods, and hopefully that's back on track and I don't have to take any more iron tablets. Like you've seen me, iron-rich foods, we've been stuffing those every single day to make sure that my iron levels are back to what's classed as normal levels, and which will help with all sorts of things, apart from my general health, will also help during labour. And our birth team contacted us, home birth team, they contacted us in week 28 as well to arrange an appointment to come and see us. And that was really exciting because we could actually start talking about home birth properly and putting our plan of action into focus. So that was good. And I've begun reading a hypnobirthing book by, I wrote the name down, it's Catherine Graves, and it's excellent. It provides you with a CD as well about hypnobirthing. It's basically just gaining control of your body, your birth, of your baby, and giving you the confidence to go through the birthing process without fear or without past experiences overriding what your body is naturally made to do. And I find it quite empowering actually to read it, because I was actually doing a lot of the techniques without even knowing what's into that. So I've always had nice labours, but it just struck me to give it a read and see why I'm doing so well in the labours, but to also help me to breathe better and to not see the pain as something that's a bad thing, which I always used to try and interpret as the more pain, the closer the baby is to coming out and into my arms. So moving on, I'm getting the signal. Week 29. So week 29, we're in our 3rd trimester. Last lap, Roxy. You tired, darling? Ow. You tired? No. You never admit to being tired, do you? So, our home birth induction didn't happen, because I was warned that when they do come out to you, or when they do arrange to come out to you, sometimes they can be called away for someone that is actually in labour, which is completely understandable. So we didn't have that home birth induction. It's now been booked for this week, as I am now week 30. The be booked in for Wednesday. So hopefully, all being well, we'll get to meet our home birth team midwife on Wednesday. So we've started now to put a little birth plan together. So what we'll do is mention in the week 30 and 31 what we actually put in our birth plan and what you can put as well. Sometimes you don't know what you can actually put in a birth plan, and it's not concrete because sometimes things don't go according to plan and other things have to step in for your safety and for the baby's safety, which is understandable. But you know, sometimes when you don't have the presence of mind, you can't always say what you want to say. So if there's a birth plan in place, it can help just, you know, direct the labour in the way that you'd like it to go. So I would advise that you do one. I've always done one and it's worked pretty well. So you can also get templates on the NHS website actually, for those of you in the UK. I'm sure worldwide you can access birth plans if you need a template to kind of help you get started. Other than that, just start jotting down what you would like, basically, and that will always help you to formulate some kind of plan. Yeah. So that's it for now. And I'm sorry to have been speaking like I'm a Duracell battery operated rabbit, but yeah, we had a lot to fit in such a short space of time. Hope you're all well and hope all your pregnancies are going well, and if you're not pregnant yet, I hope that that's going well to that process. So shall we say bye, Terrell, until we do week 30 and 31? Shall we say bye?
Mommy.
Yes?
Say bye.
Come and say bye then.
Okay.
Yeah. Say bye.